Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. This today is one special money making method. This is probably the most glitched, overpowered car since the days of the 600pp Tomahawk. Just a quick warning before you do this money method, you need to follow this video exactly and follow the tuning sheet exactly to make sure you get the exact same performance points as me. So listen carefully and pay as close attention as possible to this video. So the car we're going to use is the Corvette C7 ZR1 2019 model. As you can see, already putting out a whopping 754 brake horsepower. However, if you look at the top, you can see by the time we're done, this thing is going to put out over 1000 brake horsepower. So putting out some serious performance and some serious horsepower. So listen carefully and get ready for the method. So here are the aero parts you need. You need the Type A front bumper, or I guess custom front part, and you need the Type A rear part. You do not need to change the rear wing. I've kept it standard. Wheels wise, I have not changed them either, so keep it on standard wheels. Do not change the wheels or add any livery to this car, or else it can cause it to glitch, as the slightest little change will completely change the performance points. Here's the parts you need. You want weight reduction stage 1 from the sports category, and I believe it comes as standard on sports mediums. From the club sport, you need weight reduction stage 2, so make sure you put that on. Semi-racing, you need the racing crankshaft, fully customizable computer, and a fully customizable LSD. Also, you're going to need to add on the weight reduction stage 3. Racing, you need engine balance tuning and polish ports, supercharger high-end torque, racing intercooler, racing air filter, racing silencer, racing exhaust manifold, racing brake pads, brake balance controller, fully customizable suspension, racing clutch and flywheel, fully customizable racing transmission, weight reduction stage 4, and then from Extreme you need carbon ceramic brake kit and steering angle adapter. Make sure you purchase all those parts. Now this is what you need to do. Have the sports medium tires on both. Put your fully customizable suspension on. Then you want to set body height adjustment to 95/103. Anti-roll bar at 4 and 4. Dampening ratio compression 35 and 35. Dampening ratio expansion 45 and 45. Natural frequency 3.50 and 3.70 at the rear. The negative camber angle 0.5, 1.5. Toe angle, this one's massively glitched. 0 and outwards 0.99. That is absolutely crucial, and it may sound weird, but you will get to it. Differential, put your fully customizable on 10, 22 and 15. No nitrous, you want fully customizable racing transmission. It should come standard at 360, but just ensure that's set. You want the fully customizable ECU, and leave the output at 100. You do not need to change that. Downforce 200 and 350. Then you want racing intercooler, ensure you've got that on. Supercharger high-end torque, make sure you got that on. Air cleaner, racing. Silencer, racing. Exhaust manifold, racing. Brake system, I've gone for carbon. Brake pads, racing. Handbrake, you don't need to change. Make sure you've got the brake controller on. Steering angle adapter kit, make sure you've got that on. And the racing clutch and flywheel. Here's your, I guess, more permanent parts. Engine balance tuning installed. Polish ports installed. Racing crankshaft installed. Weight reduction stage 1, 2, 3 and 4. Pause at any moment you need to. After doing all that, it should glitch you to under 600 pp. Mine is at 580.93. Follow those instructions exactly. Then we're going to head over to the Tokyo Expressway, and it is the classic, the World Touring Car 600. This is ultimately still the best money making race there is. Just a heads up before you start, make sure you got a controller steering sensitivity at -2. It's pretty crucial with how this car handles, and it just makes it that little bit much more, I guess, controllable. Here's the assist I recommend having. I recommend a manual transmission, but you can probably get away with an auto. You want full traction control. You want your braking area on because it's really awkward early on. You want your active stability management set to on, and your counter steering assistance, set that to strong. They are the assists I recommend using. When you start out, you want to be really gentle on the throttle and make sure you're running at fuel mix 6. Here is how quick this car is in a straight line. You're pretty much instantly going to overtake the whole field. Honestly, it's just an absolute bullet in a straight line. It may feel really weird. Basically, the way to do this is to break the race up into 3 separate parts. From lap 1 to 4 is basically survival. Take your time and get used to the car. It's pretty much essential that you kind of get used to how this car feels. It does feel very strange, almost kind of like the 600pp Tomahawk. Very sort of unnatural feeling, but you do kind of sort of, I guess, climatize to it and kind of get used to how this car feels. As you can see, we are on lap 1 and already on the back of Gallo here, and we're pretty soon going to make a leap for the first place. If it's not obvious already, set your AI to easy, then you don't have to worry about them just as much, and you can pretty much get into setting faster and faster lap times. As you can see, we've already overtook first place, and now it is a case of surviving. Basically, all you want to do is short shift where you can. Do not let the car spin its tires. It never gets to the point where it feels like it's going to break away from you, but it always pretty much feels like it's kind of skating on ice for these first few laps. Obviously, the track is still wet. We should really, realistically be running on intermediates. Obviously, we are on sports medium tires. These are going to last until the mid stage of the race. It's the same with the fuel. We will be making a single pit stop, but I will tell you when exactly to do it. So we are making our way around the lap for our first lap, and this is when the track's probably at its most treacherous and absolutely horrible for standing water. However, this car doesn't bounce around or sort of skid out from standing water like the Alpine does. If you've ever used the Alpine 220 race car, the classic one, it very much does not like these standing water. However, this Chevrolet is kind of not too bad over the standing water. Yes, it is a bit of a, I guess, gives it a bit of a twitch at the rear. However, it's never to the point where it kind of just completely loses control like the Alpine does. As you can see, you want to short shift up the gears. As we come across the line at the end of our first lap, we are going to set a 2 minutes 25.751, which is a ridiculously fast opening lap. As you can see, this car is hitting upwards of 230 miles an hour while running in fuel mix 6. However, if you switch it to fuel mix 1, you will see pretty soon just how quick this car is and some of the insane sort of top speeds we're going to hit down that straight. So as you can see here, this is lap 2 only, and the track is still drying out, but all of a sudden we are down into the, sub 2 minute 10 lap times. We're going to come across the line with a 2 minute 7.257. So very fast lap times, pretty much straight away as this track carries on to dry out. As you can see, lap 4, I'm going to show you just how fast this thing is in a straight line. You should basically have enough fuel to kind of run fuel mix 1 at this point when you're in a straight line, but only for, I guess, a little bit of time, because this thing really does like to drink fuel. So you need to be very careful, as we're obviously in the 2 minute 3 second laps now. I'm going to boost the power up to mix 1 and show you just how quick this thing really is, as we're going upwards of closer to 245 miles per hour, which is an absolute rocket in a straight line, even faster than the Alpine race car, which I believe hits around about 202 miles per hour. What you want to do is just do that for a couple of laps and go straight back down to fuel mix 6. But if it is, you don't have to do it, but when it is in, fuel mix 1, it really does burn off fuel, so it is completely up to you. Lap 7, and this is when we're going to make our first pit stop. Tyre wear may be an issue around here. It's completely up to you if you want to box in on either lap 6 or lap 7. Personally, when I'm in this more, I guess, sort of I guess not necessarily survival stage, but more like sort of endurance, kind of breaking away from the pack stage, and sort of doing a more, I guess, sort of safer run. I guess that's what we could call it. I like to kind of do a longer stint, so it gives me less to do in the second half of the race, and I can really sort of nail down and, you know, settle down and do some quicker laps. So we're going to box in at the end of lap 7. You want to put another set of medium tyres on, and you're going to want to fill the car to full. So this is basically going to come, you know, bring stage 2 of the race to an end. So you've done an absolute, you know, sprint at the start, you know, trying to survive, and then you've done more of a, I guess, more of an endurance kind of feeling section where, you know, once you've survived the wet, you're going to be all about tire management, fuel management, and then the second half of the race is, I guess, sort of a mix between a sprint and an endurance, where you're going to be going as quick as you can because the surface is as dry as it can be, as well as kind of, you know, making sure you can get the car to the end. You should be able to kind of turn the engine up a little bit more on the straights now without worrying about your fuel, as we are on lap 8 out of 12. So going around lap 8, you can see this is when the other cars are basically going to all pit in at once. You really don't have to worry about them too much at this point. However, with them pitting, it means you are going to basically be coming up to the point of the race where you're going to lap them soon, and it's mainly between lap 9 and lap 10 that you are going to start lapping the field. So just be very careful when you do catch them. They're very clumsy around here. They will basically act like you're not there. As you can see, this is on lap 10. I've already lapped a bunch of cars already, and we've obviously got the Aston Martin. It's all about kind of learning the lines they take and making you move where it's not dangerous for you to kind of, you know, either run into them or run into the barrier and obviously take those penalties. Obviously, Tokyo is a very notorious event for being not only, you know, wet to begin with and being all about survival, but also it's very notorious for track penalties. So when you are coming up to the AI like I am here, it's all about kind of just timing your overtakes and learning the lines they take. So on to the last lap, and we are basically done at this point. We have put a fastest lap in of 2 minutes 1.224, so very, very quick. And I've actually ran this, I believe, about 3 or 4 times after this sort of recording. So this was captured about, I believe, like a day ago. And, you know, since then, I've basically done a few more runs, and it is possible to get well within the 24-minute barrier. It's all about kind of getting used to the car, getting used to how awkward it feels, but eventually just, you know, making the most. As we boost it up to Power Mix 1 to fly straight across the finish, and we're going to put in another decent lap, even when tyre weight is a bit of a factor. So as you can see, we are first place, no problems at all. This car is extremely overpowered. I have not seen a car like this since, you know, the 600 pp Tomahawk days. It's absolutely, you know, crazy. But let's check how it did. So overall, we had a time of 25 minutes 39.124. So very much on par with the Alpine. However, I do prefer this method, because when it comes to standing water, it won't automatically, you know, try and throw you in a barrier as long as you've got your assists set correctly. So as you're going to see, overall in that 25 minutes, it's 825k with the clean race bonus, nicely building that bank balance up. So if you've got to the ending of this video, like I've said, this is literally the craziest car we've had in Gran Turismo 7 since the 600 pp Tomahawk days. How this thing has kind of flown under my radar for so long, I don't know. However, I'm glad I found out about this, and it's a massive thanks to actually Reddit that this car was kind of posted on, that I kind of found out about this. I was kind of just browsing Reddit, so yeah, I just stumbled across it at the right time, and trust me, this thing is absolutely crazy. Follow the settings exactly and you should be able to get it under 600 pp, and it is honestly one of the most fun, crazy drives you can have in Gran Turismo 7. Thank you all for the support recently. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to keep this channel growing and keep, you know, motivating me to make these videos. That is going to be all for today. Thank you so much again. I really do appreciate you all. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.